Good morning, diners, and welcome to another of our 8th anniversary celebration Sunday morning brunches here on the Doomstead Diner and the Cooking Zone, Snapcard Gourmet, etc., etc., etc. And this morning, very special, okay? My table for brunch is so packed with food that I cannot even fit my booze on the table. It's got to go back here, okay? And for this morning, we're having a challenge. Okay? And we're going to try to discern, this is a challenge for you guys, what on this table is kosher and what is not kosher. Okay? And I got a whole bunch of stuff, alright? I got bagels with different toppings over here. Okay? I have some Japanese food that's leftovers that I recycled for this episode. And I have more Japanese food, which is tempura, that I also recycled for this episode. All right? And you can see more detailed pictures of these so you can try to identify what's kosher and what's not kosher. All right? And the challenge is for you to identify on this table what's kosher and what's not. And the person who, the diner, who gets it all right and can identify every single dish as kosher or non-kosher gets a diner Cupid doll, for sure, okay? And in fact, anybody who gets it all right will get a diner Cupid doll, and the person who gets the most of them right gets a diner Cupid doll. So, you know, anybody can participate. But I have a special, very special, once in a lifetime offer. Anybody, not anybody, any other poor person who has an income below $30,000 a year who can get every single dish correct will win. If you live in anywhere in North America, a round-trip ticket from where you live to the last great frontier to visit with me and have a meal somewhere, okay? Probably not a Jewish deli. We don't have them up here, okay? But the Japanese food at Tokyo is good, so we could go there, okay? So it'll be a coach class, okay? Coach class ticket, not a first class ticket. I'm not buying you a first class ticket, sorry. But I'll buy a coach class if anybody can get this entirely right and has a low income. Okay? So that's your challenge, okay? Can you identify everything on the plate and tell me whether it's kosher or not kosher? Okay. Now, what does kosher mean? Is a big question. All right? Well, Jews made some laws as far as what was good eating and what was not good to eat. And I'm not going to go into what those laws are, all right, because that would help you. I'm not going to help you with figuring this out. But, you know, how good those laws were. Well, they might have had some meaning back when they were created, and the Muslims also have similar set of laws, okay, as to what is okay to eat and what's not. But nowadays, nothing's okay to eat. It's all GMO food, right? And hormones in it and all sorts of shit. Okay? But you got to eat it anyway. So I don't worry about it too much. At any rate, how does that relate to collapse? Well, it's the food, of course, is important. And, food is a major concern of mine. This is the Doomsday Diner, okay? Food, yes. And this is a primary commodity. I mean, you've got a few things, that you've got to have. Air, all right? Without air, you only last, maybe a couple of minutes, And then water. Without water, and we have our good Alaska water here. Okay, I fit that on the table. You got to have water. I think it's 3 days, 4 days without water, and you're toast, something like that. And then food. And without food, I don't know. It depends how fat you are. How long you can last without food, and how much you use your energy of your built-in supply to determine how long you'll last if you completely run out of food. But a month maybe. I mean, there are people who have been, shipwrecked and stuff like that who've lasted quite some time. So I can't tell you exactly how long any given person will last without food. But, definitely 6 months, forget about it. You're dead, okay, if you have no food and can't acquire it and so forth and so on. And so those are important details of collapse to think about as you prepare for these for the hard times to come. And I try to emphasize that here on the Doomsday Diner. It's an important concern of mine. It's more important to me than politics and even economics, which really interests me because of my history. But even so, food remains my primary concern. Thus, this is called the Doomsday Diner. Yes. Okay. So now, where else does this relate to collapse? Is the question. All right. And is it kosher? Well, there are questions about our government. And is our government kosher? Now, that doesn't mean, how we relate to Israel. I mean, I don't even think Israel is kosher. Okay? At least not Benjamin Netanyahu. He's not kosher, for sure. And then, you have this, the religious dichotomy between the Christians and the Jews and the Muslims and, the various belief systems, which are important politically for many reasons. They start wars, these things, and so that is another relationship of food choices, and so forth, to collapse. How our religions affect the various politics that are going on and we see this in the abortion debate, and just everywhere, in our politics, and then in immigration and racism, and all of those things are related to this type of belief system and the tribalization of people. The joining together of various clans based on racial characteristics that are similar and so forth. So we have to consider those things when we consider collapse. And food and what's kosher represents that. And some of these items are Democrats, and they're more or less kosher. Okay, some of them, at least. Not a lot of them. I mean, there's a lot of unkosher Democrats, and some of these things are Republicans, and they're all unkosher. Republicans are not kosher. Okay, not even Jewish Republicans are kosher. And our whole political system, as it exists today, is not kosher. Billionaires running for president and controlling Congress through PACs and through private donations and through running themselves, like Michael Bloomberg, all right, or Donald Trump, or any number of other people. I think Mark Zuckerberg was talking about running for president at one point. Another billionaire. And I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff Bezos ran for president. Bozo the clown, right? He would fit right in with all the rest of the clowns that are in the government. So this is another thing that's unkosher in our system as it exists. And, I could run down a litany of things in our society that are not kosher. And I'm not going to do that right now. I mean, maybe I'll write some of it, or make a list when I write up a blog on this. But anyhow, so on the screen here, what I had, how come I'm seeing motorcycles now? Is that an ad? Ride a motorcycle? I don't know. I had Jewish delis up there, I thought. And I was going to talk a little bit about the history of Jewish delis. That's where, along with Chinese food, which I ate a lot of in Chinatown in my youth and whatnot, that's where I got a love for the various foods that the Jews served up. And there were a few very famous ones. There was the Carnegie Deli, which was in Midtown Manhattan, and Stage Delicatessen, also I believe in Midtown, and then Ratner's, which was in downtown Manhattan on the Lower East Side, and then in Forest Hills, where I lived briefly after I came back from Brazil as a child. There were a couple of real good ones too. I can't remember their names. And then of all of those delis, of all of them that were extant into the 1990s, so some of them, maybe some made it to the 2000s, there's only one left. Only one great Jewish deli left in New York that is famous for many years, which is Katz's Delicatessen. At least it still hadn't gone bankrupt the last time I checked. Why? Ask yourself, why did all these wonderful delis that produced wonderful food go bankrupt? through these last 10 to 20 years or so. And when you can answer that question for yourself, you will know why collapse is underway, and we are going down an inevitable hill into something different. The system that we have is FUBAR, fucked up beyond all repair. Okay? And nothing will fix it. No electoral changes, nothing like that. Nothing that is systemic, system oriented. There's only two things that can possibly work to make a change, and that's whole scale revolution or collapse, which collapses the monetary system and brings everything down sort of all at once, or very rapidly anyway. So I watch for that. That's my job, is to observe the action that's going on, try to discern what is happening, and within some parameters get an idea of how long it's going to take before shit hits the fan day arrives. At least in my neighborhood, because it's not going to arrive the same time at every place. Economics vary from place to place by geography and by other things. So, but I try to observe that stuff, and keeps me occupied, keeps my mind active. All right, keeps me from going stir crazy as a housebound cripple. Anyway, I'm going to eat something here. I'm certainly not going to eat all of this food at this sitting. That is just not going to fucking happen. In fact, I couldn't eat all this food in a week. I couldn't do it. But I have a cripple helper coming over on Monday, so she'll get some packaged up, and I got another one who's going to drive me to the airport. She'll get some, so hopefully I don't have to throw out too much of it, but I probably will. So it goes. And that's all the do. This time until next time. Here on the Cooking Zone Snap Card Gourmet. There's one other one, isn't there? Of the Doomset Diner. Hasta la kosher stuff.